Good evening, Central. This is Henry Hushke back here with the COVID cast, day two. Today we're not going to have quite as long of a cast as yesterday. I really appreciated all the support I've gotten so far. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying it, and I hope to keep it up. Yeah, seeing how many people liked it, really gave me the motivation to continue the series. So, today we're going to have a shorter cast. We are going to talk about what happened with the virus since the last update. It's currently March 15th, Ides of March, and it's about 4 p.m. when I'm recording this. So I suspect there will be more updates by the time this video gets out with the virus. I just saw France reported their numbers. And and Germany did too. Some very bad numbers. So yes, so I suspect there'll be things that will still happen through today. Anyways, let's look at what I do know so far. So basically, Europe still things are still very bad in Europe. Italy had their most cases and their most deaths. Absolutely terrible. 368 deaths today. And 3,590 cases today, which is not reflected in the chart here right now that I'm looking at, although I may get one that's updated with those numbers for you later. But very bad in Italy. Maybe the new case number is maybe didn't increase by too much. It's very similar to yesterday, so maybe we could start to see their lockdowns starting to have an effect on these new cases, but we really probably still won't see that for another few days, and then hopefully that will start to level off for Italy. Germany, Spain, France, these are all countries that are having really rough go of it, and they're all going to be under massive stress here soon. And a ton of other European countries. Switzerland is over 2,000 cases now. Really, really bad for Switzerland there. Not a very large country. Obviously, a place with great healthcare system, all these European countries, and we see the terrible toll it's taking there, which is a bad sign for the rest of the world. So, again, like I said on yesterday's podcast, very, very serious situation here and something to stay aware of. And also the US hitting 3,200 cases. I mean, we're just seeing this exponential growth all over the place right now. And I want to talk about the US. So Michigan, state of Michigan, obviously, where I am here in Grand Traverse, or in Traverse City, Grand Traverse County. Michigan reported 33 cases yesterday, up 8 from 25 the day before. We'll see what it is tonight. I'm not quite sure the testing capacity in Michigan right now. I believe we've tested about, let's see here, I can pull it up here. So we have conducted so far 238 tests. So Michigan has about 10 million people, so not really that many tests for the entire state so far. So that's a developing situation. Very worrying. I saw some really terrible video out of my cousin goes to Michigan State, go green. But I saw some pretty bad videos of just how jam-packed the bars are from all the students after they kind of shut down classes there. Kind of worrying. So be better, East Lansing. Do a better job. And on the same vein of just the U.S. not taking this as seriously as we should, saw some very disheartening video out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Florida has, let's see, over 100 cases now. So really, I mean, as far as we know, it's all over Florida at this point. And just seeing video of mosh pits on the beach in Miami, very irresponsible behavior right now at this time there, especially. New York City today reported new cases. New York now has the most cases out of anywhere in the U.S., as far as we know, obviously, with our limited data. So bad sign out of there, but their number of new cases today was about a 10% increase, which to me seems good. It's really hard to know, but compared to some of these other places where we're seeing day-over-day rises in percentage of like 20%, 10% is maybe a promising sign, but I don't know if that means anything at all. So still a pretty bad situation with this virus. Um, in terms of like schools reopening and stuff, if I had to guess right now, I'm just not sure that school's going to be back anytime soon. We're definitely in the early stages of this crisis in the U.S., and I think most of the world is in the early stages of this crisis. Maybe Italy's hopefully at nearing the peak of this, but everywhere else still, and China it seems like they've gone through the peak of this, but everywhere else really seems like they're um, getting to the peak of this. Obviously, the same concerns from yesterday about the developing world starting to show cases are real. I mean, we're seeing South America quite a few cases. Uh, we're seeing cases everywhere across the entire globe. It's a pandemic. Um, so, yes, because this chart that I'm using isn't updated, the logarithmic scale and the actual scale isn't really going to be too reflective today. But yesterday, if I pull up the log scale, you can see it's kind of hard to see because all these are converging. But basically, the cases outside of China stuck with the straight line trend, which is pretty worrying. So, yes, worrying stuff. But again, we're going to stay sensible. There's no need to truly panic yet. If we all are sensible and take proper precaution, we are all going to be absolutely fine. So, yes, let's see. I talked about EU. That's on schools. Yeah, definitely. I'm very concerned about the U.S. going forward. Just the images of what we're stockpiling on. You know, I don't know. The U.S. I'm pretty worried about. I do think that so far Michigan has done a fairly good job compared to other places, and it actually seems to me that just locally here in Traverse City, people have limited their social interactions. It seems like we're headed towards the right place for a place that hasn't even found the cases that are inevitably going to be here yet. So, just moving on to life, I have some questions for my listeners. Spring break was obviously supposed to be coming up in the very near future, and obviously, there's been a lot of issues. I myself, I was lucky enough. Our family was planning on going to on a cruise in the Mediterranean to France, Italy, and Spain. Obviously, we canceled about a we've canceled that obviously due to the terrible situation over there right now. But what I'm wondering is, for those of you who maybe have a domestic spring break, for instance, to Florida or to go skiing or that sort of thing, or even downstate or to Chicago, have you changed your plans yet? I would really like to hear, I guess, what thought process you're going through, because it's a very tough call to make. There's not a lot of guidance right now on what exactly you're supposed to do. I would just say that no matter what, definitely reconsider your plans again. I think Florida seems to be a growing hotspot for this. Colorado seems to be a growing hotspot for this. Really, the entire United States really does seem like there's big issues. New York City has a huge issue. So I would say, it's probably best if, and I know this is hard to say. I mean, I was depressed for a while. I was looking forward to this trip so much. And you kind of have to go through these stages of grief. One day you'll be thinking like, oh, well, maybe we could do it somehow, but right now might be the time to evaluate your plans and think about it. Again, and if you do go somewhere, or if you go to a place that doesn't have it or doesn't have it in an extreme amount, again, I think by the time spring break actually comes around, we're going to see much higher numbers. But just stay extra vigilant. Practice again. Wash your hands. Just be careful. Maintain your distance from others. Don't go to large events in these places. Yeah. And I would also just say, I don't think this will happen, but I yet or soon, but with the way this is going so quickly, I could see as the U.S. starts to test and starts to figure out its situation, I could see certain parts of the country going on lockdown or closing off state borders. So again, I would just be careful about this sort of thing, and I would just advise you to probably just stay home. It's probably the time to stay home. Yes. In Traverse City today, we had two terribly overcast days the last 2 days, but today was absolutely beautiful. The sun was shining. It's a blue sky, no, not a cloud as far as the eye could see. So we took a nice walk with our dogs today. We're fortunate enough, it's so rural here. We only saw one person on our entire walk today. Out in the woods, very pleasant. Again, just remember to try to stay active during this time. Movement is good, no matter what. Maintaining, staying healthy, being completely shut in. Again, if you're in a situation where you're in a city and it's dangerous to go out, you're inevitably going to have contact with lots of people. It's best to stay in. But if you have the luxury of having space, then don't be too afraid to actually get some exercise and go out. Just avoid places where people gather. And also, again, if we get to the stage, for instance, where up here we're seeing this, vitamin D is known to be good for your immune system. So again, getting a little sun is nice, or taking a multivitamin is a good idea. Okay, so like I said, there's not too much to talk about today, but there is one other interesting thing that I found, and I'll be posting this in the description. So with the cancellation and the closure of so many universities across the country, the Ivy League has recently made the decision to post their online classes for not just their students, but anyone who would like to sign up for absolutely no charge online. So yesterday, I talked about on the list, one of the things you can do is learn a new skill. Well, this is an amazing opportunity to learn something new by taking an Ivy League class from, a class from one of the top institutions, educational institutions in the entire world. So this is a super cool opportunity that I learned of recently that I'll be posting in the description of the cast. I will also be posting the website for Michigan's Department of Health, their updates on coronavirus. So you local kids here that I know can keep track of this on their website. And just remember to stay safe, practice good hygiene, practice social distancing. We will be able to overcome this. We're going to flatten the curve of the spread of this. We're going to stop healthcare from getting overwhelmed. And we're going to try to make sure that this event doesn't have too many movies made about it. Okay? So enjoy your time reading good books, having good laughs with friends, listening to music, watching great movies, and have an ideal Ides of March day. Ideal Ides of March day? No? Okay. Have a great day.